with India's most watched news anchor. Swiss Eagle presents the News Hour at 10 with Arnab Goswami. Co-powered by Raymond and co-presented by Siska LED. Coming up tonight on India's most watched news show, Pakistan dual leadership comment.
Welcome back. We're talking about the Prime Minister's interview. Now, many would argue that his government has gone out of its way to engage Pakistan. But tonight, even the Prime Minister admits that the duality in Pakistan's leadership between military and civilian parts has put New Delhi in a spot that we don't know who really we should be talking to, who really we should be engaging. The Rawalpindi-Islamabad divide is news point number 5 on this News Hour special edition. Here's the clip.
Debating in 2 minutes on the News Hour.
पाकिस्तान के साथ लक्ष्मण रेखा का फैसला किसके साथ करोगे?
This statement by the Prime Minister laying threadbare the reality of our neighbour state. As Prime Minister Modi exposed the civilian-army establishment tussle in Pakistan, came some subtle admission of the divide from across the border.
Politically elected government in Pakistan, we want friendly ties with India and all our neighbors. And I think this realization has come into the new Indian government.
But an embarrassed Pak envoy choosing to evade questions.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has given his first interview to Times Now, sir. He has spoken about different power centers in Pakistan. He said there's ISI, there's army and there's civilian government. Who do you represent, sir?
Even as Prime Minister Modi sent out a stern warning to the neighbour state.
मेरे देश के जवानों को पूरी छूट है, जिस भाषा में जवाब देना पड़े वो देते रहते हैं और देते रहेंगे.
The opposition unwilling to take the Prime Minister on his word.
The Prime Minister's foreign policy lacks coherence, clarity and consistency. It cannot be on today, off tomorrow.
It's the Prime Minister's first ever observation on Rawalpindi-Islamabad divide, as the interview continues to set the news agenda for a second day. Bureau Report, Times Now.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 3 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And joining us from Islamabad tonight is Rauf Hassan. He's a political analyst and is executive director of the Regional Peace Institute, live from Islamabad. Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao is joining us live from Karachi. Maruf Raza is with us, our consulting editor, Strategic Affairs. And joining us for the first time on News Hour tonight is Saurabh Shukla. He's editor-in-chief of NewsMobile.in and a respected journalist, senior journalist on strategic affairs particularly. Now the question is, and I want to start with Rauf Hassan and Saurabh Shukla, please. You see, Rauf Hassan, I think I lost the line with you, so I'll go with Abid Rao and Saurabh Shukla first. Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao, I don't know if you saw the interview. The Prime Minister of India has broadcast to the world in that interview that we recognize the fact that Pakistan has other actors and different forces working for it than your elected government. The Prime Minister of India is not shy of saying so on record. He says, "Baat kare bhi to kiske saath baat kare?" The question was put to him that if, agar mujhe Lakshman Rekha, like if I have to put a boundary line on what Pakistan is to do, if it is to talk again at a political level to India, what should that Lakshman Rekha or boundary line be? He says, who do I talk to? Do I talk to the so-called elected government? Or do I talk to these other people? So, Prime Minister of India going on record to say that Pakistan is a country of contradictions. that you have one democratically elected system, and you have a habit of, these parallel power centers. I think he's really put the problem in its right place, hasn't he? Must be embarrassing for you, but nevertheless.
If your question is over, I can answer this.
Yes, my question
now.
is over. Yes, please. I'd like the answer to begin.
Okay, Pakistan has a fully functional foreign office. Pakistan has security forces who have a say like any other country in the world. India is finding excuses to stall the
India's
talks.
foreign policy is not dictated by generals. You're wrong.
Running his 4th year. Please let me know. Let me speak. He's running his 4th year in the office. How many times has the government engaged him at their level?
I think there was a cabinet meeting recently in Rawalpindi which was held, sir. I don't know if you're aware. Last week there was a cabinet meeting in Rawalpindi. Saurabh Shukla is countering you. Saurabh wants to counter you. Saurabh.
I want to correct him. I want to tell him clearly Rawalpindi prevails in Pakistan. That is what Prime Minister Modi is saying.
Ambassador to ambassador or something like that.
Saurabh.
I mean, I don't know what is the problem. When America doesn't have problem, Russia doesn't have problem.
It's all a farce, sir.
India just wants to stall the talks.
Go on, Saurabh.
No, it is just a farce. I want to tell my esteemed panelists from Pakistan, the problem is the generals in Rawalpindi control the reins. And this is what the Indian Prime Minister is talking about. The fact is
so did Field Marshal Ayub Khan, so did General Ziaul-Haq, so did Pervez Musharraf. Your all elected prime ministers dealt with them in a very normal and a peaceful manner. What is the problem now? It is Mr. Modi's bad intentions. He doesn't want to.
But they were sitting in power. Here you have
when you come to table, you will have to give in a lot of areas.
Yes, Saurabh.
I mean,
because
you don't want to talk
table,
and you find
they don't have anything to deliver.
He has promised the Prime Minister
disappointment
for all Pakistanis to hear that.
But nothing has been done so far.
The Prime Minister of India has gone on record. Abid Rao, see.
I will take you to 1948, your resolution on Kashmir. What have you done about it?
Vice Marshal Abid Rao, please understand this from a reasonable perspective.
You're talking about same the Kashmir word.
No. Let's look at this from a reasonable perspective. I'm sure Rauf Hassan, for example,
reasonable is that we have
and I'd like Rauf Hassan to come in, but I'm sure Rauf Hassan understands, and I want him to engage with Maruf Raza on this. I'm sure Rauf Hassan understands when the Prime Minister of India effectively goes on record in an interview to say Pakistan is a country of contradictions, and India takes a strong position to engage only with the democratically elected system. This vis-a-vis a country which is... Sir, you are known to have a dual power center. Mr. Narendra Modi is saying it's impossible to deal with you people, because we don't know who's in charge. You are
despite this,
Rauf Hassan and Maruf Raza.
Agreement signed with
Rauf Hassan and Maruf Raza. Rauf Hassan, please.
I can't hear you. This is a bad connection. I can't hear you.
Okay. Okay, I'll try and fix the line. Maruf, go in. Maruf can come in, and I'll try and fix the line with Rauf Hassan in the meantime. Maruf, please.
Okay. Arnab, I want to respond to several points raised by Air Marshal Abid Rao, whom I have great regard for. But Air Marshal sir, this is an established fact of history that the military has remained the most important element in Pakistan's foreign policy, particularly with reference to India, Afghanistan, China, United States and nuclear issues. And there is no getting away from it. I can quote a number of books written by Pakistani authors and American observers, and some by Indian observers, including
I am
a humble
not debating
contribution by myself. But anyway, sir, meri baat sun lijiye. So therefore, I think where you are saying what is the Indian Prime Minister's problem? The Indian Prime Minister's problem is that there are many people in his government who are continuing to suggest to him that you must engage with the civilian power center in Pakistan. And I beg to differ with him and many others here, because the experience has shown that in India's case, all the deliverables from Pakistan have come and stayed when there was a military government in power. The CFL and the LOC agreement, both of 47, 48 and 1972. The Indus Waters Treaty and various other engagements that even Musharraf's ceasefire engagement with India. In fact, Manmohan Singh also went on record to say that I do not know who I should be talking to in Pakistan. Let me also remind you, sir, that when Benazir Bhutto was to be sworn into power the second time, her swearing in was delayed by more than 5 days till she gave a commitment to your military that she will not interfere in matters related with India, nuclear issues and other bigger issues of foreign policy. So effectively, sir, the point I'm making, that you have a facade of a civilian government, and the earlier you let it be known to us that all talks with India will be attended by military representative who will give the ishara to the civilian how far to move ahead with India. Tab to baat aage badhegi. Agar we keep talking to civilians, we are going to get nowhere.
Rauf Hassan, I think, are you back?
That is the central point to understand when engaging with Pakistan.
Rauf Hassan, are you back on the debate?
If you ignore that element in India's discourse with Pakistan, you will continue to beat around the bush.
Maruf, 1 second, please. Rauf Hassan doing an audio check with you. Can you hear me, please? I'm trying to check whether you're back.
This is a very bad line. I can hardly make out what is being said at that end, so I would not be able to participate in the program like this, because I've not been able to understand the flow of the talk which has taken place so far.
So, Mr. Rauf Hassan, I'll ask you a question if you can hear me. Can you hear me? I'll ask you that question. If you can, then we'll take it forward. Can you hear me?
Hello? Hello? Hello?
I think I
can't. It's too warm.
Right. Okay, we'll give it one more shot later. Now, listen, I want to go back to the point with Marshal Abid Rao. I don't want to waste time on this. We'll try and get the line back with Islamabad if we can. The question is, Abid Rao, the Prime Minister of India, and you are looking a bit shaken today and sort of sensed your unease in the early part of the program. And the reason for your unease is this, because the Prime Minister of India has called your bluff. There's no, sort of intangible, invisible subtlety going on Manmohan Singh style ki bina bole aap samajh jayenge. वो सब अभी नहीं हो रहा है. Direct language है. Narendra Modi is saying, हम किससे बात करें वहाँ पे? Army से बात करें कि civilians से? No one made. Now you have to clarify. Therefore, sir, 1 second, sir, 1 minute. May I ask you now?
Why Foreign Secretary doesn't talk to our Foreign Secretary?
Sir, it's impossible. You have to clarify now who calls the shots: ISI, Army, or government. Please tell me. You have to come on record.
That. I mean,
pardon me?
In Pakistan,
Saurabh?
we will not act as per the wishes of Indian government,
Sir,
or Indian media.
Not as per the wishes.
We have our own system.
No, so you are saying that's what Prime Minister Modi is saying, Saurabh. But that's exactly what Prime Minister Modi is saying. No, 1 second.
I want to.
Okay, Maruf in the middle, please. Yeah.
This is the point I was making.
Yeah.
That your system, Marshal Saab, your system is such that even if your Foreign Secretary talks to our Foreign Secretary, he can't give a commitment. He has to go back with the file to Rawalpindi to get their approval. So the fact of the matter is, why are your generals firing from other people's shoulder? If they are true soldiers like yourself, they should come out and say, हमसे बात करिए और हम आपसे अच्छे रिश्ते नहीं चाहते.
Therefore, India should not do this.
They admit that they are scuttling the talks process, then we know what we should be doing. No, sir. I'm telling you, there's a reality check. When the Americans come to Pakistan, they spend 4 hours in Rawalpindi and half an hour in Islamabad. Why do they do that? Because they know your generals called the shot.
No, you should be grateful right now, actually, to Mr. Narendra Modi. And at this point, Saurabh, 1 second. Abid Rao, you should be grateful to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and you should say, and Saurabh is intervening, you should say that Prime Minister Narendra Modi, we are grateful to you because we know that dual power centers is no state secret. We've lived with it. You have only said it as clearly to us. And it is time for us, therefore, to realize why we are becoming global diplomatic pariahs. Saurabh is responding to you, sir. So becoming a global diplomatic
Prime Minister staked
untouchable is not good for your country.
Prime Minister staked a great degree of personal risk by going to Pakistan. He expected that Prime Minister of Pakistan, Nawaz Sharif, will do something on 26/11, but nothing has happened. I can tell you from sources, highly placed sources, there were people in the government who had told the Prime Minister, but Prime Minister said that we have to go ahead and extend our hand of friendship. But nothing has happened. He is also demonstrating his disappointment that
Maybe
Army
Mr.
and
Nawaz
ISI
Sharif
are
has
holding back the
confided in you.
democratic government in Pakistan not to do anything on the issue of terrorism. That's
These
the
are
ground
your
reality.
own hypotheses.
No, sir.
I mean,
this
you
is
build
not
up a story
hypothesis,
on a
this is
myth.
How are they
fact
an
on the
imaginary
ground. You
story?
tell me
And
what
then
has
you want
happened
everybody
in
to
issue of
believe that.
terrorism. People are
What are
dying
you
every
saying,
day.
sir?
In Jammu
What
and Kashmir,
movement-
entire
what movement have you
country
done
of
on
India.
who
Who
Why
knows
should their
terrorism
blood
better
be
than us?
shed?
Facing them every day. Your RAW is operating in Balochistan. Kulbhushan Yadav has been apprehended only 3 months back. It started by Indian Sarbjit Singh in mid-80s. What are you talking about? Good neighborly relations.
I think the reason. I think the reason why Prime Minister Narendra Modi has every right to say it, and Maruf, I'm coming right to you, is because Nawaz Sharif met Modi. As the Indian Prime Minister made a surprise stop in Lahore in December, we know exactly what happened. 8 days later, terrorists from your country infiltrate and attack our airbase. Now tell me, we have every business in questioning your bipolarity. It is a state of, sir, your country, with respect, and I don't mean to insult your country, but as far as the way your country runs, you have a schizophrenia in your governance. You cannot be schizoid in your approach. Civilian in morning and military by night, or military by morning and civilian by night. I think the Prime Minister is telling you as a country to get out of your state of schizophrenia.
I can give a lot of advice to Mr. Modi also, although that's not my subject.
Well, I think Maruf is responding, then we close the debate. I don't think this is going anywhere.
Relations are such a volatile and vast subject that anybody and everybody can give a suggestion.
Well, Nawaz Sharif 30 days, no, 1 second. Nawaz Sharif 30 days after Pathankot said that the government will go any length to investigate the alleged use of Pakistani soil by Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists who carried out the attack. 5 months later, there is no action. Tell me, 5 months later, is that bipolarity?
What looks music to your
I think
ears.
you're looking a little harassed by what the Prime Minister said, sir, but I'm sorry, but I think he just stated the fact bluntly on that. Yes, please. No, Mr. Air Marshal Abid Rao Maruf.
Orna, may I, with the Air Marshal's permission, just make 4 or 5 quick points.
Ahead.
The first thing is, Nawaz Sharif is incapable of delivering. Right now he's fighting for political survival, particularly after the revelations of the Panama Papers. The second point is that you can keep bringing up Balochistan and Kashmir, sir. I can keep bringing up the atrocities in what you call Azad Kashmir, we call POK. मैं बड़े facts and figures आपको दे सकता हूं, but I'm not going to repeat it and waste your time. I can even quote a book written by a Pakistani journalist, signed by Musharraf and given to me, in which there is a chapter which admits how Musharraf thought that he had sorted out the Baluch problem 500% by killing Nawab Bukti and using attack helicopters. और वो जो आपने वहाँ पे जो तेल और गैस और minerals और सबकी लूटमार मचा रखी है, and the rapes and the human rights abuses there, that is a separately documented story. But let me get back to the central point. Air Marshal Saab, central point. The central point, sir, the central point is that those in Pakistan that Mr. Modi is wishing to engage cannot deliver. Those who do not want to deliver don't want to come up front. So don't blame us for the talks not happening.
I will
blame yourself,
give you a point.
sort out, give us little clarity, and with you, sir, with the dear Air Marshal, Air Marshal Saab, I would expect greater intellectual honesty from you. Don't keep going on in the history, because I will tell you your past and you'll feel embarrassed. So let's not talk about it.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. All I'd say tonight is that I know that a meeting was held in Islamabad between Nawaz Sharif and members of the intelligence and the army on how to proceed on the Pakistan side of the Pathankot investigation. That meeting had a strong military presence, including the army chief, the DGISI, the corps commander of Lahore, and other senior military officials. This essentially confirms the military exercising a considerable influence on the investigations. It confirms that the army chief and the ISI dictate who will be arrested and for how long, and therefore goes in line with what Prime Minister Narendra Modi says. You see, sir, what Prime Minister Narendra Modi the Prime Minister has told us what the whole world. Mr. Abid Rao, listen. Just hear me for a minute. don't be touchy about it and just hear me. I'll just speak for 30 seconds. Understand, Air Marshal Rao, Prime Minister of India has put on record that nobody buys your theories. On June 26, disagreeing with all of Pakistan's concern, US Special Envoy Richard Olson dismissed any such theory, saying India has only been a supportive partner for Afghanistan. The Prime Minister of India has put the onus on you. Go explain to the world what kind of a schizophrenic existence you lead. You don't like it, but he said it. So you get used to the Narendra Modi style as opposed to the Manmohan Singh style. Both essentially put the same questions to you, but only it's more direct now. I think Saurabh wants to say something and then we're closing
close to some solution.
Well, what solution? Hillary Clinton put a solution when he said that your soil, on your soil, people put poisonous snakes in your backyard because you shouldn't, because your neighbors will be attacked. So you should understand the position you're in. Please, Saurabh.
You're trying to do it now. You're trying to do it now.
And significantly, the Prime Minister of India, when he talks about letting the soldiers do what they want to do, clearly this is coming out of a Prime Minister who realizes that on the issue of terrorism, the democratic government in Pakistan cannot deliver. He has to tell his soldiers to make sure that the blood that is being shed every day of Indians, that is avenged. And that is the way to go forward.
Closing this part of the debate, and I'm sorry we couldn't get our guests from Islamabad on live tonight. Saurabh Shukla, Maruf Raza and Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao on the part of the Prime Minister's statement on the duality of power centers in Pakistan. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
The News Hour at 10 with Arnab Goswami. We'll be right back after the break.